Hello friends, I've got a bit of a story here. I'm building this F-22 from flight test. It normally has a propeller motor that sits in here, so this is all a modification that I've made because I wanted to make a twin EDF jet out of this thing. And so I bought these really cool 12 blade 30mm fans. I had to install them. Well, I should have tested them first, but I had to install them to locate the center of gravity, so they were all glued in. After I got them all done and I got the ESCs wired up this thing, these are supposed to run on 4S, 3S or 4S, and so I hooked them up and went through the ESC calibration that's required. There's some instructions here that say please do the throttle calibration for the new ESC. Once I completed that, I had one fan blowing and one fan sucking, and that's simply corrected by reversing any two of these three wires, and it gets the fan blowing in the right direction. And while I was doing that, I powered off, and then I powered everything back up, and I was just giving it just a little bit of throttle just to see if I had both of them blowing, and the left motor over here started to smoke. So I immediately pulled the power off, reviewed my wiring, make sure everything was correct. I've got a split from the receiver, and so I've disconnected the red wire, which drives what they call the BEC, or battery elimination circuit. So only one ESC is powering the receiver instead of both of them, but they both still receive a signal to throttle. So very disappointed, and put back the power on, and the left engine wouldn't turn at all. The right engine turned for maybe 30 seconds, and then it smoked. So very disappointing. I double checked the part numbers on the motor against what I ordered, and it said 4S, 4-cell batteries. So I returned them for replacement, and they've arrived. And so now I'm going to repeat what I did. Oh, one last thing is I actually, after I pulled the motors out, I grabbed a couple of motors that I have that will run on 4S. They're really designed for 3S, but they're heavy enough that they can handle 4S. They get a little warm. But I put two of those in just to check that everything, and they worked fine. I didn't have any trouble. So now I've got two replacements, and I'm going to start up with a 3-cell 3S battery, and then if that all goes to plan, I'll change it out to a 4S. Alright, so I've got the radio powered up, I've got the throttle set to high, I've got one motor plugged in. The reason the throttle is set to high is the ESC calibration. You start with the throttle high and you should get 2 beeps out of the motor, and then you bring the throttle down and it should beep once, and then count the number of cells you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and hook up a 3S. I've got a 3-cell and a 4-cell battery, and here we go. Let's hope we don't see smoke. There it is. Okay, so this ESC is calibrated. I don't feel any heat. Seems to be working okay. That's on 3-cell. So now we'll go ahead and disconnect that one. Well, let me pull the power off. Okay. And now we will connect. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this motor. We'll just do things one step at a time here. Okay, so that was motor 2. This is motor 1. We'll hook it up to the second ESC. And again, we're going to test on 3S. And that motor was backwards, so I've got to go through the procedure of fixing that. Okay, so this ESC is this guy. We need it to power the receiver, so we've got to switch its location. And signal to signal, ground to ground. That's in there, so we bring the throttle all the way up. Power on with a 3S. 2 beeps. All 3. No heat. This one's blowing correctly. Whoa, easy there, cowboy. A little bit of chatter from the relays, or from the servos. I don't smell anything. Okay, so these motors work just fine on 3S. Now let's go ahead and change out the motor, or the battery, for a 4-cell. Yeah, that's a tight connector. Okay, plugging in the 4-cell. Counted 4 batteries, 4 cells, no heat. Not very balanced. Ah, look at that, it's smoked. Look at that. Toast. Very disappointing. Very disappointing. These are 15 amp ESCs, and these motors are supposed to draw 10. So, I guess I'm gonna have to return both of them. I don't need one that works. I don't want to smoke it, but this one is dead. So that's it. Very disappointing. Guess I'll have to figure out a new motor for my really cool F22 twin 30mm